I'd imagine they're going to take this match entirely serious as opposed to their round of 8 game here, which almost slipped out of their hands on Eichenwald. But these guys for the side of no team name, a little bit tougher, a little bit more practiced.
You can see me in chat trying to figure out the history on Maikiru. Second both times. That feels bad, man. That feels extra bad. So Maikiru, hopefully for him, he can win this one out. He's got some great guys on his team. I mean, we've seen literally every person on this team other than, I think, Declan. I mean, have we seen Declan before? I don't.
No, that's the one I actually didn't mention. No, I didn't mention him when I had actually read off the roster. I don't know him, but, I have faith in these guys. I mean, we've seen all of these guys in the past.
He could be a monster, man. I mean, obviously, they're pretty good regardless, but he could be an absolute downright fiend, and they could just tear this up. We could. I mean, you don't know, dude. I mean, that's the thing when you go against teams like Bishu was known for just being an absolute monster on Diva, just because of the fact that he just shuts teams down. Hit scans have no fun. The tank on his team just always gets to go wherever he wants to because the defense matrix play is just so good. Coolmat69, another one of those guys that just literally can carry a team because of the fact that he's so good on Diva. Obviously there's a lot more factors when it comes to Coolmat69, and even to Bishu as well. But Diva can do a lot, man, especially pre-nerf Diva right now, and maybe even post-nerf, if you can call it a nerf. I don't even know if you could call it that. It's just a pre-change, pre-adjustment. We'll call it that. We'll say pre-adjustment. That's probably the best term.
Well, Death Engine needs to get back. Looks like we're good to go. I did spoil their team composition by saying he is Lucio. Hopefully he can get back. He's Lucio. It's 10 seconds to get back. There's no way he can't back.
He's in. He did it.
I know, but are they going to be? Is he going to get back to the
back? But he's a Lucio. He won't get back, but he'll get there before the opposing team.
I think that's fine. I mean, he doesn't need to be in any crazy position like you would want to see from like something like a 76. So he's back in time. He's going to be okay. I don't think that alone is going to have them losing the set, if anything, here. But they're going to play this one rather aggressively. No team name up top. Going for that high ground approach, but already losing out on Maybay. And this is going to be easy pickings for HTC to move in off of this, knowing they don't have to worry about that aerial threat now. And APOC looking to get charged up with that EMP.
Man, they were bunched together on that one, weren't they, Storm? I mean, HTC easily was able to just basically go fishing, just put out any kind of damage they wanted right onto the heads of Sheershori, Little Menace. I mean, basically anybody on the team was just easy headshots as they were just packed into that tight little corner trying to go up around those stairs. And now they're going to have to look for another option to try to get up in there, and Sheershori opting just to get right on the point. Diva going to allow him to get in there, and now they're looking to try to shut down this Sombra here, who's already at 86%. They find a pick nonetheless, though.
Yeah, with Josiah out of the fight now, that's going to be really big for this backline to do okay, I think, for the side of no team name, but they lose out on their Far Mercy early on. Little Menace was getting close to that Resurrect. We'll see if they're going to continue with this one here, especially with their supports now out of the mix, with Maikiru trying to get to safety, not quite actually going to be able to get out of that one or get a tick onto the board here. It's already 90 seconds off the clock, and looking for a different approach. They went in through just the main entryway right onto the point. It didn't quite work in their favor, and now they have to go up against an EMP.
So many ultimates coming up for the defense. I mean, Josiah's actually going to have a pulse bomb again as well. I mean, a lot of switches coming out. Maybay, I think, going to be a lot more of a threat here on the Genji, but still they have to work from behind a little bit. But still, 6v5, 5v5 actually as Lucio's trade out.
APOC not getting there in time. He was a little out of position. I don't think he actually anticipated them going for the high ground. Now we're going to see a Primal Rage out from Valmaster and Sheershore, but who's going to get the best of this one? Spyro Knight kind of dislocated from the rest of the team here. Is Valmaster in a rough spot right now? They're holding on to their ultimates. I don't even think they're going to need to use that Death Blossom. An easy capture comes out from no team name. I feel like a lot of that is off of that first pick and making sure APOC wasn't in the right position here. So now we're going to see them come up with one capture point in a decent amount of time to work with.
So Maikiru with that opportunity here. I mean, I don't know if there's anybody more deserving. I think this man has played in over 35, I'm just guessing, different AG, maybe more.
maybe more. I don't know, but they're going to move in right off of that self-destruct. Picks off Valmaster. The sound barrier comes out from both teams now. Can Spyro Knight find anything? No, he's not going to get it. It's a defense matrix in his face here, so he won't be able to get any value from the Death Blossom other than nullifying what that D.Va could have done otherwise. Even so, Hurix, they don't quite have a tick. There's the... Oh, no, Tech Visor gets shut down here from Desire. He's not going to have a whole lot of targets, and that's going to be no team name coming out with the Dragon Blade. They're going to have to get Yoji off the point. Death Engine now back in the mix here. APOC is coming up on an EMP, but can he get it charged in time? He's so close. No, he's going to be taken down by Maybe with the Swift Strike in the nick of time. They come through with the capture with 445. And oh boy, HTC gonna have a heck of a time dealing with these guys now.
And now maybe they're sitting there wondering, maybe we shouldn't have goofed around in that last match, because they do not seem as warm as, you know, we typically see them. I mean, Ezire, Josiah, not in the typical form. I mean, they don't have their standard tank. They have Valmaster coming in, but Valmaster beat them last week, and he looked good doing it. So I don't know. I don't know exactly what the problem is here for these guys, but they need to figure it out quick, because that defense was not solid at all. Little Menace going to be playing that Sombra, and we've seen him on this before. Definitely knows what he's doing here. They're going to be bringing out a very similar composition, pulling out the Genji as opposed to the Tracer that we saw Josiah actually play, but still pretty much the same exact concept here for the composition. I mean, Maybe is going to be playing a little bit differently than what you would see from Josiah, but not too different that you won't recognize what's happening here. And we'll have to see if maybe Little Menace and the rest of these guys here from No Team Name are going to be able to pull something out. They had a great attack. 445 is a great time, but first point, I imagine, will go to HTC. It's just all about, can they take away enough time on a second point to give themselves an advantage in overtime if it winds up coming to that, which it typically does.
And you mentioned Josiah and Ezire. Josiah, for those of you who haven't watched AGs in the past, he is usually one of the top players from the tournament on his Tracer. He is lighting up the feed. He is being where he needs to be in the back line, and that's just not something we really saw there from HTC. A strong start, yes. Very strong start. The first two initial pushes in their favor. They capitalized. They used their DPS in a terrific way, but Ezire and Josiah really not finding a whole lot now. So Josiah over to the Reaper, a pick, again, we don't really normally see from him, but it's going to be into that Winston, into the D.Va, and of course the Sombra. That's the big one right there, into Little Menace. We'll see what they make of this and if they're able to set a quicker time, but Hurix, 445, it's going to be tough to beat, man. It's going to be tough to beat, as we do see No Team Name taking that high ground approach. We'll see if they can maintain their positioning.
A little slow here to start things off, but Little Menace already starting things off at 35% and going up very quickly, and that's going to be the name of the game here for the defensive side. Can he actually make those plays happen? We're seeing APOC actually with the Sombra himself shutting down that defense matrix from Yoji, but they need to find that kill, and that's not going to look like it's going to happen, but they do finally take him out. EMP coming out as well from Little Menace. They might clean up.
Is it too late, though? They don't have a whole lot of damage on the point because 76 was isolated there by Valmaster, able to find that kill for themselves. So Spyro Knight wasn't a big factor, and that should be a point secured. Chushor is still in the area, but he's not going to have a whole lot of other people here. Maybe comes back to rescue him. They're going to be forced to give up this first capture point now. 7 minutes to work with, and the most dangerous push yet to come here from the side of HTC. They don't really have anything to work with, though, Hurix. Their closest ultimate's only at 75%. Same could be said for the defense, though.
We'll have to see Death Engine versus Mike Hero. Obviously, Death Engine a little bit ahead, but he's going to die off, and now we're trading back and forth. Certainly going to favor the defensive side, and I think they might be able to hold this down a little bit here. Nonetheless, HTC still finding pick after pick, and that's the kind of thing you would not like to see from a team at all. No Team Name, obviously a pickup, so maybe lacking in the team dynamics department a little bit, but still cleaning things up and making a solid hold. Over 6 minutes actually here. Storm still remaining as Little Menace does wind up getting that EMP back up.
The thing you got to worry about, though, is that APOC also has his EMP ready to go. So it's kind of going to be who can get that out into the better position first. And I feel like the defense definitely has the advantage moving into this fight, especially with Death Engine now coming up on that sound barrier. Hopefully, he knows that Little Menace is ready to go with his ultimate, so he can try to avoid that. But they're going to move right into this. EMP's out there from Little Menace. Can they find anything? Tac Visor out from Spyro Knight. He's in a pretty good spot now. He's got the support of the D.Va at the back here. They should be able to clean this one up with Yoji now out of the mech. They're going to be forced to pull back with the regroup. only really utilizing that sound barrier there from Death Engine, but that's still a big ultimate to use.
Putting this down for quite a bit here, and I don't know, APOC, this is really where they want to make this work. They have a lot of options here. Death Engine is going to be lacking that sound barrier, but typically that thing could, I mean, very easily get shut down by Little Menace at any time. So, you know, these are the 5 ultimates you would definitely like to see in this next fight, and opening things up with a really strong EMP from APOC would definitely be a good way to start things off. They're not giving it to him at all, and we're already seeing a self-destruct come out. Might find a kill already.
No, they're going to be pinned back into the corner here, and with Yoji not having the mech anymore, they're going to go ahead and pop a Primal Rage regardless. Don't know about that one from Valmaster. Poor timing. He's going to try to leap to safety, but they might be able to follow through with that late kill. No, he's going to get a last-second leap out of the way. But again, Hurix, that's not what you want to see from your main tank, Valmaster. You're still holding on to 4 ultimates. Need to use those in a better fashion. And the worst part about this is that now Little Menace has an EMP to work with, as opposed to last fight when they didn't even need it from him.
And on top of that, Mike here is going to have that sound barrier. So APOC is not only going to have to get a good value EMP, he's going to also have to do it at good timing as well, just to kind of deal with Mike Kiru's sound barrier. And Maybe just cutting through everybody right now with this blade.
So uncharacteristic of HTC. This is not the beatdown we had anticipated moving into this match, Hurix, by any means. I mean, they were definitely, before the match even began, we both said that we had anticipated an easy 2-0. Not as easy as that round of 8, but a relatively smooth 2-0 into the finals. But boy, is no team name giving them quite a bit of a resistance here in our best of 3 semifinal. Of course, Temple of Anubis only the first map, and you do see a bit of a different playstyle, I guess you could say, from mode to mode, so maybe something like Gibraltar would change that up. But both teams locked and loaded for the EMP. Let's see what they're going to make of it. Looking to move in right now as Mikey Roo under a lot of pressure in the back. EMP's out now from the side of APOC. Tac Feather comes down. Can he find anything? Spyro Knight, no, going to be shut down by the Dragon Blade, but so is Desire immediately once he drops that one. The defense had the advantage as Mikey Roo's sound barrier doesn't quite get the effect I think he was hoping for here, but regardless, they hold strong.
Really, really solid defense from no team name. They're holding on, and quite well at that. Still, though, you have to wonder, you know, these ultimates that we're seeing coming out from the attacking side, I mean, they're holding on to stuff a lot here. Josiah's still holding on to that Death Blossom. I mean, he died quite early in that fight in comparison to some of his other teammates. But, you know, it doesn't seem like they're coordinating exactly the way that you would like to at the beginning. APOC with a nice start on that fight with the EMP, and they just weren't able to execute. They weren't able to find those kills. They weren't able to be as lethal as you would like to see to be able to actually get that point. Death Blossom is definitely a good way to secure it if you can, but you still have to find those opening frags to at least get yourself into it.
Now you're back to the drawing board here for no team name, or excuse me, for HTC. HTC moves in with the self-destruct and the sound barrier, or self-destruct rather on the other end, finds one for themselves here. They still have a Primal Rage and that self-destruct from Yoji to try to prolong this one, and the kills are in their favor. Now Shirshoi pops his own Primal Rage, trying to get out of this one. EMP comes through from Little Menace as he's taken down, but I don't know if it's enough here from the defense to hold on. It's going to have to be a big play from Maybe coming in. Now Dragon Blade out here looking for one. Looking for Josiah, finds it for himself. Now onto Yoji. Can he get anything? No, he's going to be shut down here. There are still 4 people on the point for HTC. The trades are going to favor no team right now. And now with Declan back in the fight on the Diva Hurix, I feel like the defense might have this one in the bag. But as I say that, they lose their support players, and this is looking rough here for no team name.
I'm not sure about this. Spyro Knight still yet to be dealt with here, trying to stay alive. Gonna be able to get that health pack. That's gonna help Little Menace. If they get that EMP up at some point, that'll be huge for them. Still, though, kills coming on the board as well from HTC. It looks like they will be able to take this in just a matter of time. EMP goes out. I think he only got Valmaster with that.
Got a couple. I think he had APAC in the area as well, but a sound barrier came out immediately after from Death Engine. They've got the numbers on the point here. I just don't think the defense has the tools in place. The Nano Boost is out onto Valmaster here. They've got all 6 on the point. They've got a Primal Rage to work with if they need it, as it looks like no team name are desperately trying to funnel back onto this point here. They're still barely 2 ticks captured, so they might be able to do it a little bit longer. But now Declan, the only one off of respawn, trying to come in. Primal Rage is out as well, but no, not able to get back in time. And they will secure a second checkpoint, T-Rex, but look at the difference in times, man. That's a full 4 minutes in favor of no team name.
Very, very close to it. Yeah, I mean, incredible performance there, especially on defense. And again, you have to wonder that initial setup from each HTC on defense, not very solid. You look at their initial attack, not very good either. They finally came in, again, opening with Josiah coming out with that Death Blossom, finding 2 kills off of that. It was a little bit, I don't know, finicky, I guess you could say, in the sense that, you know, they weren't as clumped together as you would like, but still able to find 2 kills. They lost someone initially, which means that they weren't going to be able to kind of confirm more after that. They were losing their momentum a little bit, and that's why it took so long to finally get that control back over to themselves. But still, a really good job, especially from their supports, to just kind of hang in there. And APOC obviously being on that Ana and Death Engine obviously helping out a lot with that. Tremendous effort from those guys just to keep everybody alive, because at one point it did very much look like that was going to switch, but still holding on. Spyro Knight not going to be able to actually get anything done with the Tracer there to flip that one back over, but still a great time for them to work with here. They have certainly a huge advantage going into this one.
And if you're HTC, you're feeling bad about this match, sure, but you got to keep in mind you originally captured this point A in a very quick time. So it was the point B that gobbled up most of that here, because I believe they had 7 minutes originally moving into that. So didn't take them long at all. They have a little bit of time, meaning maybe a push or 2 maximum to work with here for this point A. Looking for the high ground approach right away, and then nice biotic grenade connects onto Shearshoy. He's going to be the first victim here, and that should be an easy move on to the point here, especially since the Diva Declan for the defense is stuck up top, trying to deal with both Valmaster and Yoji. They're going to be able to easily capture this one, get themselves an additional 30 seconds here, and look to make one final push for the second objective.
This is not a good feel at all if you're no team name, because with that minute, you really hope to try to get a huge advantage. Just get that full hold on that first point, and then go from there. Now you're giving them that extra little time, 30 seconds to work with, just to maybe push that momentum into that second point. They're going to have a little bit of an advantage in terms of ultimates, and maybe they'll be able to get something online, especially if it's going to be Ezire, where they're going to be able to push that advantage and maybe take that second point or get some progress, either of which are not good.
Ooh, they actually have the Dragon Blade. It's going to be unsheathed here. No nano boost to accompany him, but he already finds 2 for himself here. Not to mention, he opened up that fight with the kill onto Shearshoy. There's a take on the board here. This is a 5-on-2 situation against both tanks for the side of the defense. Nano boost is out. It's on to Valmaster. A great biotic grenade connects there from APOC on to Declan to get the D-Mech now. Menace, though, comes in, has an EMP, only hits a couple for himself here. Would have liked to see him translocate into the fight before actually dropping that one, though. But now Valmaster comes out with the Primal Rage. They're not going to be able to make it back in time, and HTC take 2 points in a minute 30. Hurix, what a push from them.
Again, you cannot lose that first fight. If you're able to hold on for the first fight, you at least have something to work with on point 2. Maybe an EMP early on or something like that, just to kind of slow that momentum down if they actually wind up taking it off a second. But losing that first fight means that you lose all control of the map. You're coming out of spawn. You're not able to get the right setups on point 2. And, you know, you also don't have those ultimates. And when you give up a huge amount of charge to a guy like Ezire when he's on that Genji, it's the only thing that I think could actually really consistently shut down a guy like Maybe on this Genji, and it forced Maybe out of the fight. As soon as that blade came out, he didn't want to be near that pressure. They weren't able to really get a lot of lockdown onto Ezire at all. He was able to take a couple of kills, and that was that. I mean, almost completely off of the back of that Genji blade, they were able to just get that full control and take that second point. Now with 457, maybe they can make something happen here. I imagine, though, that HTC is going to be able to make this stop.
Textbook push coming out there from HTC with limited time and now no team name. They've got a lot to live up to right now here. Their first attempt was very successful, but it really feels like HTC have finally warmed up a little bit, because it was clear that round of 8 match did nothing for them. They were joking around. Josiah was playing Lucio. APOC was on Hanzo. Took them a little bit of time here, but it feels like they finally have started to wake up right now in this semifinal match. We'll see if they're able to hold them off for about 5 minutes, what they're going to do with this high ground approach. Originally, this didn't work out for No Team Name when they did this the first time around, but already APOC out of the fight here. Death Engine only at 60% on the EMP, needs to get that charged up. If they can continue to funnel onto that health back, maybe there's a way, but no. No Team Name, rack up the kills. Death Engine going to be taken down with the EMP, and nobody is here for the backup here. Another quick point capture.
But looking at the defense, Death Engine all ready to go with that EMP. That's exactly what you want to look for. Having something available to try to stop these guys when they try to push that momentum into the second point. They have time to set up. They're already in position here. They have that opportunity to actually pull that EMP out. That might be enough to actually slow them. He's going to be able to pull it out, getting everybody. That was huge for these guys.
Do they have any follow-up is the real question here. Valmaster into the back line, finds a couple for himself, and that will be an easy cleanup. Thanks to that EMP coming out from Death Engine. Didn't need to use the tactical visor, which is pretty big moving into this next fight. So we'll see what they can make of this one. That's the biggest, most scary push you really have to worry about here. So now all they need to do is hold off for 4 minutes, but it's going to be tough for them because Maybe, Spyro Knight coming up on some ultimates, and they have a nano boost at their backs.
I mean, you really want those kind of early, though. They are going to be able to shut down Death Engine. This is huge. 6v5. Maybe, Spyro Knight getting close. Declan going to be taken out almost immediately, though, so hopefully they're not going to be using anything here. Little Menace already did, though, so that's not good at all.
Great positioning from Yoji. He eats up all of the Nano Blossom coming out from Spyro Knight, so they utilize all ultimates off of the sole pick of Death Engine here. Find absolutely nothing for it. A tactical visor, pulse bomb, easy cleanup crew for the side of HTC, looking very strong, and now they have an EMP potentially to look forward to if Death Engine can ensure he's not picked off this time at the hands of Little Menace's Sleep Dart.
That does not feel good. They do have that self-destruct ready to go from Yoji. They are clustering these guys, just kind of keeping them condensed a little bit. Ultimate's coming out as Death Engine actually unleashes that EMP here. Storm, can he shut down Lil Menace? And he's not going to be able to. They're actually finding the kills here.
Dragon Blade comes out now from Mayday. Can he find anything? Looking for Valmaster. He has a self-destruct on the point to knock him around for a little bit. Sound Barrier comes out from the offense, rather. They also see Izire make a change over to Doomfist, trying for some of that one-shot potential, but is it enough here? There's still 2:35 to go, but no, Josiah opens it up, gets a double kill with the Pulse Bomb, trying to pull it back for his team. Sound Barrier comes in here from APOC, hits both him and Yoji to sustain just a little bit longer, but Hurix, I'm afraid they don't have much else to work with at this time. Yoji now out of the mech. Valmaster in this fight. The offense still have a self-destruct to knock him off the point. Hurix, can the defense pull this back? They've got 5 people on the point. I think they've done it.
They have absolutely done it. Mike Crew falling there, and that was big to Izire. As soon as that happened, they lost all their support. That one-shot potential was everything that they needed, and that's so good about actually trickling in on those defenses. Having something that's available to actually find kills that you can finally get control back. Izire on the Doomfist was exactly that, and it worked out well for them, finding that kill onto Lucio and taking away some of that extra little bit of sustain. And look at this, they actually managed to hold it off. They aren't able to get any real meaningful ticks on the board, not up to 33%. So now with 138, they're looking pretty good.
EMP, dude. He's going to move in right now. EMP's out there from Death Engine. I think that means they don't need to use anything else. Specifically, Valmaster's Primal Rage right now. We might see a Pulse Bomb come out from Josiah. No, he's going to pull back as both supports are out of the race now for No Team Name. And they're going to continue to build up that ult percentage, only utilizing that one here. Now we're down to 1:15. What do you do if you are No Team Name? As Spyro Knight actually makes a change to McCree.
And I'm not entirely sure about that. I mean, maybe he feels like he really isn't getting as much done. Once you get on the point, that Reaper is actually quite strong, and even into what we're seeing this composition here. I mean, maybe not as much Doomfist, but still, he's going to be making that swap over to McCree to deal with the Doomfist, and I like that at least, but still going to have to find some value in getting some of those picks, and I haven't seen it quite yet. Not going to have a long time to try to get that done, though.
Meteor Strike comes down. He finds one with the uppercut as well. His known counter, his pretty much one known counter, Izire cleans it up for the rest of his team. It was a pretty strong start, I'd say, for No Team Name. opening up with that self-destruct kill. But Hurix, as we've seen time and time again, a single kill is not going to be enough to get rid of the HTC right now. Now we're down to 19 seconds. They should be able to contest, but Hurix, they only really have a Primal Rage to work with. Nothing else coming down the pipeline other than a sound barrier. Can they make it work?
I don't think so. I think the fact that they used Little Menace and Maybe on the ultimates there, not going to work out for them. Little Menace taken out already. This is it.
This is a bloodbath, man. They still have a self-destruct and Primal Rage to use. Shearshoy is trying his best to knock him into the corner, find a kill for himself, but his ultimate's going to expire here. The defense have the respawns here. It's pretty even trades across the board, but of course the defense going to take the advantage with the spawn here. It's just Maybe in the area. No Dragon Blade to try to clutch it out for his team. That will be it. HTC pull a miraculous comeback here on Temple of Anubis. They take the map and go up 1-0 in the set, but man, Hurix, did they have to work for it?
That was such weird controlling from Death Engine. Does anyone know if this man plays with a controller? Hello? Does anyone know?
Possible.
So it was so fluid, but like also delayed. Like it wasn't fast enough, but it was completely fluid, always the same speed. It was very strange. Nonetheless, though, Maybe, great performance on the Genji again. Not going to be enough, though, as 1-0 lead goes to HTC, and we move into a map that I feel like is probably going to help HTC out a little bit more as well.
Watchpoint Gibraltar would be that map indeed, Hurix. For those of you just joining us, we are in the semifinal match between No Team Name and HTC. Looking to move into the finals tonight. More than likely going to be actually, Virtue already took their 2-0 set against the Savages, who actually beat out Bedtime Fugitives, interestingly enough. But Virtue is the other finalist. They are awaiting the winner between these two teams here. So we'll see. I mean, anything in particular you want to see from No Team Name change up moving over to Watchpoint Gibraltar? Or do you feel like they've got a formula that's kind of working, but maybe just not enough fuel in the tank there to be able to finish it off?
Well, I definitely think that Maybe on the Genji is the absolute best method. Maybe get something to shut down Ezire. That would probably help out a lot as well. And just try to focus down Valmaster, because obviously this is the newer entity in this team. Maybe he's going to make some misplays. It's hard to say. I mean, Valmaster did great last week. He's doing pretty well again tonight as well. But maybe trying to kind of make this man stumble, try to put some pressure onto him. Get some tracer action into there maybe, and just try to focus as much pressure into that front line as you can. If you can slip up, that will give you another advantage as well. But I don't know if that's going to be the best methodology. Maybe dealing with that, perhaps I guess you could say the carry of Ezire. I mean, I don't know if he's a full carry. Obviously, the rest of this team is quite good, but shutting Ezire down will go a long way as well. But I think Valmaster, Ezire being those main targets, just really trying to focus all that aggression into one of those two, not both, but one, might help them out a little bit. But otherwise, I mean, they have great players. It's just the fact that they don't have the coordination. We saw it in the last little bit there of Temple of Anubis. They just didn't have any coordination. It seemed they were just using ults, 2 at a time, when really on 2CP you want to be able to kind of execute with at least 4 more often than not, if you have the ability to, especially when you don't know how many ults the opponent has, or you know that they have more than 3, especially big impact ones like we know that they did. So I don't know. I think trying to stay away from big team play is probably the best thing, and just try to focus into Valmaster as much as possible.
Well, it will be HTC on defense here. If they take this map, guys, they will be moving into the finals, as I had mentioned, up against Virtue, which I'd imagine is going to be easily the best set of the night. And that's saying something, given that first map here. It's very, very solid effort from the side of No Team Name. Did not expect that whatsoever, even that close to the match. But again, it is 2CP, but still an early performance from HTC was very lackluster. We'll see if they're able to keep it up, keep the momentum going right now. On the offense, though, more than likely going to see a typical dive composition, as Mikey Root not going to be playing that Hanzo. That would be the first time. First time for everything, but I don't think it's right now, Hurix.
See, I mean, looks like so far Ezire taking a lot of that pressure. Maybe is on that Genji, though. That's definitely good for them, I think, overall. It's one of the things I mentioned is keeping him on that, because that pressure he puts out is very, very solid. But Death Engine falling very, very early here.
Good pressure up top from Spyro Knight as well on the Tracer, actually forcing them off of the high ground. Didn't really see that one coming, allowed them to follow up with that kill on the Death Engine. So pretty good trades across the board here for the defense, going to be able to hold their positioning. And I think that's really big here, it's that they weren't forced to give up that car wash now. They're going to be able to maintain their original positioning, getting Death Engine back into the mix here. And honestly, no team name. Going to have to figure out how to deal with Josiah here, because he will be a big issue if you allow him to roam free.
Now we're going to be seeing they're coming back. I mean, they've held quite well. Look at the time here. I mean, we're well past a minute. Already ticking out the clock. I mean, Izai are going to be taken out this time, and that's a great opening pick. Again, one of the two that I mentioned, so they will be able to try to get some momentum off of this one. Need to shut down Yoji here on the D.Va, and they will do just that, and finally push this one forward through the car wash.
Does he use the self-destruct? No, he's just going to go ahead and die off of that one. So yes, like you had mentioned, finally 90 seconds, though, is what it took them to actually come through with the car wash. Josiah needs to be very careful not to get picked off here. Has a pulse bomb, but you don't want to get picked off this late into the first objective push here, because they're going to be moving up here. No Dragon Blade to work with from Maybe. He's going to need to get that one locked and loaded. Pulse bomb out there from Josiah. Does he find anything? Oh, gets the DMAC there onto Declan. Actually, Declan pops a self-destruct here. They're going to move into this one. Transcendence onto the point. It's going to be up against Valmaster there with the Primal Rage, but they've got one of their own, potentially, as Shirshoi trying to keep himself alive in this fight. Now, Dragon Blade out. It's going to be into a Transcendence, though, as Apoc shuts that one down with the press of Q here. Even so, it looks like the defense are going to be able to clean this one up without the use of that Tactical Visor.
Still Declan finding some kills. Izar coming back in, though, and that will be what they need to deal with. Maybe over on the side, and yet another good hold. 135 on the clock here, Storm. I mean, looking back at that last fight there, I mean, it looked like Death Engine was really going to be taking the brunt of that damage. Shearshore was just hammering away into this man, but still they hang on, and on that, they also hang on to two very, very high impact ults, especially when used in conjunction with one another. Izar, get off the controller! Death Engine! Come on, man. Missing shots.
Man. Now, the real question is, can no team name get control of the high ground? Can they actually battle past Izar? And that's exactly what they're going to go for here. It's going to be Shirshoi diving straight up to the top, forcing him in the back, but he's caught out of position. He didn't have help from Declan, had no one in the area, was way past that first checkpoint, and it's going to end up costing him. Now, Nano Boost is out actually onto Valmaster because Izar was taken down there with the Tactical Visor active, but I think Valmaster, man, player of the fight, maybe even player of the match. He has done some horrific things here on the Winston.
Valmaster, really, really solid performance the last 2 weeks, and before that, we have never heard of this man before. Never. Oh, I mean, never. I even asked a couple of my friends, you know, maybe was he in some of, you know, some pro scrims or anything like that, and they had never heard of him either. I mean, maybe someone else can enlighten us. I asked a lot of my friends, even a couple who were actually pros in the scene. Never heard of this man, so I'd be very interested in knowing his history, some of the background behind this guy.
He's doing, you know, heck of a opening performance here in AG. Maybe he's playing in AG before, but never on stream as far as I can recall. Nonetheless, final opportunity. Little Menace moves in with the Transcendence. Now we're going to see it from the other end. Support ultimates out from both sides, but the ultimates still favor the defense right now. They have that self-destruct going out there from Yoji to knock him off the point. Do they get back in time? Oh, they barely do. Mikey Roo comes through, gets onto the point to contest, but they're down Maybe, who had the Dragon Blade ready to go. A nice Bio Grenade connects as well from Death Engine, and that should secure it. Shirshoi going to be pinned into the back, and that's going to be a first point hold coming out there from the side of HTC.
I mean, that first point on the second point on Anubis was a glaring picture into basically what to expect here for this first point on Gibraltar, and a big reason why I said that HTC was going to look very good on this map is because it's about two things primarily. I mean, or maybe three to some extent, possibly even four if we're getting nitpicky. I mean, certainly looking at momentum coming from that first fight, in which HTC obviously carried and had a lot of after they won that one, you know, getting picks. While we did see actually no team name actually get some, and they did find Izire as well as Josiah, they still weren't able to control that momentum, again, that other point. And then it's all about both execution, which comes to team dynamics and stuff, which, again, we already saw that they didn't have back on Anubis. And the second thing from Anubis that we witnessed was that they don't have a good way to actually deal with people, you know, high ground control and stuff like that. We saw them kind of struggling to deal with that a little bit. First point looked very good when they had an easy path to get up there, just threw everybody onto that. But outside of that, it didn't seem like they had a good way of actually peeling people off and making that happen without throwing 6 bodies all onto high ground. And here on this map, you just don't have that same opportunity, especially when you got guys needing to stay on the bottom, trying to deal with that payload. They can't all just run to the control point, or rather they don't. I guess you could, but again, those 2 major issues there that I highlighted at the end are probably the most glaring things about this map that I feel like they're behind on, but certainly the other 2 have some kind of impact as well. Just HTC is probably a better team, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that their opponents are a pickup. So
we'll see what they're able to throw at them here. It's going to be a tough one. They're going to have to pull back Gibraltar. They're going to have to take Hollywood if they want an opportunity to move into the finals tonight. Otherwise, HTC have an opportunity to roll right over them right now with a couple of team fights. Can they do it? Josiah on the Widowmaker. We've seen this before, but not a whole lot of it here. We'll see what the defense makes of this one. Can Nebe get into the back? Can he find a way to deal with him is the real question on my mind.
Well, all this freelo getting in, and Little Menace already picked off. Josiah making that pick work, and he's going to be able to fall into server room pretty quick as they're going to fall back around that corner. And as soon as they deal with Mykiru here, and possibly even Spyro Knight, they might even get this freelo. Man, this is HTC is going to be able to waltz right into this one. They already, again, have the momentum, they have the picks, and now they have the control as well to hold on to that momentum. Josiah,
too easy, man.
On this Widow, he's going to be able to lock this down.
Yeah, I wanted him to find a few more picks. I wanted to ask if that was Baby Bay from Contenders this past weekend, but clearly he only found one for himself, so it wasn't him. He actually gets another picks off Little Menace again. I'm just afraid they aren't going to be able to have too much in the tank to be able to finish this one off for the defensive side here. So there's a Dragon Blade out from Izire. He's able to rack up a few for himself. It's just Declan, the one-man army. He's going to be taken down. An easy capture comes out in 1minute 17 seconds there from the side of HTC, moving themselves into the finals of week number 68.
Easy 2-0 for these guys. Looking a lot better than their round of 8, but still, we will see them going up into a final that is going to be kind of tough for them. Virtue looked very good, but maybe Valmaster has some tricks up his sleeve, given the fact that he played with them last week.
Definitely potential for it, but HTC, or excuse me, Virtue, last week, man, you know, they nearly took down Prestige Worldwide. They lost that one 1-2. The only team that was actually able to take a game off of Prestige Worldwide. And for those of you